Is your business ready to be licensed or franchised? Now, licensing and franchising have to do with where you have created a business and then you let other people make use of the branding to then bring you extra money, so somebody else is running a different branch. In Australia, it's really important to note that if you teach somebody a system on how to operate a business and you require them to follow that system, that falls within franchising, not licensing. Franchising is a type of license. Licensing would be if I let you, for example, publish books under my brand name, Legal Lioness, but I gave you no restrictions as to how to use the name. I didn't tell you what process to use. You could use the name and follow your own process. And you still pay me a license fee to use my name. That's licensing. But franchising is a little bit different. Franchising is where you have a business process and the person who's running the business has to follow the process. So no, this is not the situation where you teach a process, for example, how to market your business, and then I go away and I incorporate that process into my own business. That's not franchising, that's just teaching a process. But if you have a process that you follow in your business, McDonald's is a great example. They have a process for everything that happens in their business. How long to toast the buns for, when to turn the burgers, how long to put them on the grill for. When you make a Big Mac, it's got certain elements that go inside. You put them on in a specific order. You clean the counters in a particular way. The fryers have to be at a particular heat. Everything that you do, the way that you serve your customers is done in a particular way. It's all done by following a process. And in a business like a coaching business, perhaps you have a process of pre-qualifying the customers before they come in. You might have a process of you do online workshops with them and then you do some Zoom live workshops with them online and then you meet with them individually face to face. So that process that you've created for your business, if you are franchising, then the franchisee will follow the same model. They will use your branding, they will use your processes, and they will keep to the same standards as what the client would get if you were operating instead of the franchisee. So franchise basically allows you to clone your business. You have a whole bunch of franchisees who pay you a fee and they operate the business in the same way that you would operate it, but just in different locations. So that's a franchise. Anytime you're giving somebody the authority to run a business under your brand and they need to follow a process that you've taught them on how that business should operate, that's a franchise. And the reason I'm going on about franchises is because in Australia, several years ago, there was something introduced called the Franchising Code. Now, the Franchising Code is a legal document and it sets out a whole bunch of requirements. If you're a franchisor, that's the person running the deal, you have to follow the code. So there's requirements even in there, even down to the type and size of font that you have to use when you respond to people inquiring about becoming a franchisee. So it's very, very detailed. If you get it wrong, if you make any mistakes, each mistake, they can raise a $51,000 fee for you making a mistake. So franchising it's important to get right. If you are going to do franchising, you must speak to a lawyer who is experienced in franchising because the risk of falling foul of the rules is great. But if you've got the right person to advise you, then it's fine. You can be like the coffee club. They started with one cafe in Ipswich and now they've got thousands throughout the whole of Australia and around the world. So it is a good system, you just need to make sure you follow the rules. But now, is your business franchise ready? To be franchise ready means you need to be in a position where you can allow the business to grow and you can allow people to buy franchises from you so that they can run it in different locations. Firstly, absolutely essential is you need to have your trademark registered. If the brand of your business is not registered as a trademark, you're not going to attract quality franchisees. Secondly is you need to have processes properly documented so that people can step into the business and run the business, obviously not from your location, from another location, but the processes should make it easy for them. That's why they're paying the franchise fee, to make it easy for them to operate the business. So if you run the business and you know what's happening, you know how everything works, but you haven't documented it, you haven't written it down, then your business is not franchise ready. Now, if your business is something you think you might want to franchise, prepare for it by getting your trademark registered and also by documenting your processes. And this can be done by writing it out in manuals, but it can also be done using videos. And some people are better with talking. I have a client who is in the process of franchising his windscreen repair business. He's got a specific process that he follows that makes it really quick, really reliable. And what he does is when he trains new staff, he gets somebody to go around with an iPhone and follow him around and video everything he tells them. So the actual process of taking the old windscreen out, putting the new one in, how do you select the new one, how do you invoice the client, how do you greet the client, what do you do if they don't pay, when do they have to pay, absolutely everything. So the person shadows him with a smartphone, and he has put absolutely everything about how he operates his business onto video, different videos for different topics. And so that has now become his franchise manual. He's also got somebody who can now go and put it down in writing, because some people prefer the writing, the written word. So to get your business franchise ready, you need to get your trademark registered. Contact me if you need any help with that. You need to have your processes documented. And the other thing is that you need to be financially attractive. I'm not going to buy into your franchise if your business is not making a profit. So you need to have a system or a model that is so well refined, that works so well, that people trust you and you're making a fair amount of money. Because when I buy into the business, I want to see that that process can work for me as well. How fees work with franchises is that if I want to buy into your franchise, I pay a franchise fee. Now that is usually non-refundable. The franchise fee gets me in the door. It allows me to access the systems. It might allow me to access some training. But then I also have to pay ongoing fees as well to keep operating the franchise. So a lot of people think the franchise fee is them buying the franchise and that's it. That's not the case. If I want to buy into your franchise, the franchise fee usually only allows me to get in the door, operate the business for a limited amount of time, and then I will need to pay ongoing fees. And the ongoing fees could be a percentage of my turnover, or it could be a fixed annual fee. So if you're thinking of franchising your business, there's no point in trying to franchise something that's not already profitable. If you're going down the franchise route, it's also useful to test it out on a couple of people. And so we call them the gateway franchisees. These are the first franchisees that you try the model out on. So these new people come in and they help you sort of smooth over the process. So if you give them the manual on how to operate the business and they go, oh, there's a whole chunk missing. You didn't tell me what I needed to do with renovating premises before I went in. It would have been useful to know I needed particular security code or whatever it is. and they can help you refine and upgrade and update your manuals so that your documentation is in the best possible position. And because they come in first and they help you test the system and fine-tune it, they pay less. And then when you get franchisees coming in later on, they will pay more because your system's refined, and also you've already got a history with a franchisee who has been able to run and operate the franchise, who's been able to make a profit. If they're not making a profit, you're going to find it very difficult to attract new franchisees. And the new person coming in gets to talk to your franchisee about how well the system works and how easy you are to work with, and whether there were any problems that you didn't resolve. So yeah, being franchise ready, there's a business component, which is making a profit. There's a legal component, which is having your manuals ready, your processes all ready, and having your trademark registered. So good luck with franchising. If you are interested in franchising, you can book an appointment to see me, a free appointment, a free online call. But if you are thinking of going down that path, it is better to speak to a franchise lawyer earlier in your journey rather than later. So even if you're thinking, I'm only going to franchise in 5 years' time, it's better to speak to somebody now, because they can give you a bit of guidance on how to prepare your business so that when you are ready, you can just take the leap rather than having to then sort out issues in your business. So my name is Cathryn Warburton, and I am the Legal Lioness.